I'm going to talk to you about the EVALAPPS project, but before to start with this project, let me explain you how everything started. So where does the EVALAPPS project comes from? So EVALAPPS project, it's like a step in a long journey that started some years ago. But let me tell you how did it started. It was in 2014, yeah, like more than 5 years ago. I was attending a meeting in Girona about different eHealth interventions in our context, in the clinical setting in Catalonia. At that moment, a very fancy intervention about people trying to recover from phobia, phobia towards flying, so these people who are scared of taking a plane. So this intervention was presented. It was very nice, very fancy. Everybody was like, wow, that's great. But then somebody in the audience, it was not me, raised her hand and asked, oh, okay, it's nice, but do you know if that works? So has it been validated? Has it been assessed? And then the person who presented that intervention just gave an answer, and the answer was, oh, it has got like several thousand downloads. At that moment, I was like, oh, is this the only indicator we have to say if something is working or not? So I think we have to have a plan and improve the way we validate and we assess the mHealth interventions. So there, we started, not only me, but a group of people, we started together a journey towards the assessment of mHealth interventions. So when you start a journey, the first thing you need is to carry a luggage. So we said, okay, which is going to be our luggage? So we were deciding which was going to be the framework in which we will put all the different tools and methodologies needed in order to assess mHealth interventions. So at that moment, we gathered a group of international people, and we were able to define the framework, and we were able to know, okay, we're going to carry this luggage. But what's going to be inside? At that moment, we realized that we didn't have enough things to fill in our luggage. So it was a need to develop new methods and new tools for the assessment. So we reached now 2017, and at that moment, we start moving. And we start moving with the EVALAPPS project. So first, we gathered a group of people from very different backgrounds. So we were an interdisciplinary groups with clinicians, decision makers, people experts in health technology assessment, different kind of people who we gathered together, we defined the project, we looked for funds, and then we start the project. Which is the aim of the project? The aim of the project is to design and validate a tool to assess efficacy, safety, and effectiveness of mHealth interventions, mainly apps, whose main goal is to manage overweight and obesity. So we started with the project. The first step of the project was what's up? In fact, not really what's up, what has been up? So we perform a systematic review of mHealth intervention, whose main goal was target overweight and obesity, in order to identify not these interventions, but the way they have been validated. So which were the outputs and the outcomes that different research teams around the world have been used in order to say this is working, this is not working. So finally, we were able to publish it just 2 weeks ago. It has been really a tough work, but finally we succeed in that. Okay, so we were able to identify a very long list of criteria and dimensions that we have to consider. But that was very long list and not really realistic to be used. And we were not sure if this was something to be adapted in our context. So what we did is to organize a Delphi study, and we were able to select, thanks to the consensus reached, from the 114 criteria, we selected 56 criteria that belonged to the 7 dimensions that you have on the screen now. So, okay, after that, we have a list of criteria, 56, a list of dimensions, and what's on? How are we going to really perform the assessment? Are we going just to give a list of things and say, people, please answer that? That's not going to work. So what we did is to organize co-creation sessions together with some people also in the university from different backgrounds again, and we use the design thinking strategy in order to co-create the final tool. And what looks like the final tool, it's an app. So it's an app to assess apps. So the EVALAPPS app. Here you have how it looks like, because after the co-creation sessions, we developed it, and we are now piloting it. At that moment, we have a list of 30 people already who are using specific apps to manage their overweight or obesity condition, and they are going to assess these apps thanks to the EVALAPPS tool. That's happening now, and we're very happy because the recruitment of the patients has been very easy. And when I say patients, I mean people who are already attending a clinical setting in order to, because they are worried or because they need to really lose weight. So they've been asked to participate in the project, and they are more than happy to do it. So we're very happy about that. What's going to happen in the future, in the next future, is that we will have their feedback, and this will be useful for us to improve the EVALAPPS app. And finally, in the beginning of 2020, we will ask you, everybody at UOC, to use this app, volunteers, of course, in order to have a real trial in real conditions. So we will have the final results. That's going to be during 2020. So in 2020, we will have lessons learned, we will have results, we will have known a lot of things that we didn't know in 2017 when we started. But then what's going to happen next? So next, we don't know the future, but we think that we've learned a lot, as I was saying, about methodology, about criteria, about dimensions, and our plan is to continue on the journey towards the assessment of a health intervention, but focus on different health conditions, other than overweight and obesity management. So as you all know, SDG 3 focus on ensure healthy life and promoting well-being at all ages. If we look at the different specific targets, the EVALAPPS project links directly to reduce mortality from non-communicable diseases in terms of improving healthy conditions of the people. But if we use the methodology we've learned, target to other health conditions, it can be used in any of the other targets inside the SDG 3. So, just to conclude, what does our research bring to society? We hope that we have been able to produce new tools and methodologies to empower healthcare professionals and citizens to manage their health conditions. And that's it. Thank you.